Hello friends, and welcome to the video. I hope you've been having a good week. Today I got a good question this week about, it's a question that actually I used to think about, as I'm sure many people think about this. And I did see somebody ask Group Aspire a few years ago this same question. I just don't remember what he said. Well, you can think what you want. I secretly do know what he said, and I'm just going to say what he said, which would also be fine. But I honestly don't remember what he said. But since then, I've kind of developed, the way that I see it, the way that I get past this sticking point. Okay, the question, I can't believe I haven't said it yet. So, the moon. Now, scientists say the moon existed before humans walked on the earth. So before human consciousness, apparently, according to materialists, there was the moon. Now, did the moon really exist? It's kind of a bit like the whole, if a tree falls in a forest and there's no one to hear it, did it make a sound? So did the moon exist before we were aware of it? And you can kind of get into sticky ground if you really try to defend, no, the moon didn't exist, no, it only started existing when I was born, and the whole world appears every time I wake up. Now, this is actually, I think, what Nisargadatta said, and it could be the truth. It could be that everything arises, the whole world arises when you wake up. I'm not sure, though, because that really would be that it would sound very much like solipsism. Anyway, so there was this philosopher called Bishop Berkeley. It's written Berkeley, but the pronunciation is Berkeley, like Barclay card. And he, George Berkeley, and he was a subjective idealist. And his explanation, so he argued very well that everything is just in mind, our mind. Now, what happens when we go to sleep and things keep moving? So the clock keeps turning and the sun is in a different position when we wake up. How is that possible? Well, it's in other people's minds, so they're watching it, so they keep hold of it. Keep it, I don't know how to say it now, keep it ticking along. Now, but what happens when there's nobody there? The tree in the forest that falls in the forest. Does it make a sound? Yes, it does. Apparently, according to Bishop Berkeley, surprisingly, Bishop Berkeley was a Christian. Bishop is not his nickname. So it was the world has always been watched. It's always held in the mind of God. So all the things that happen when we are not conscious, when we're not awake, you could say. I don't actually know if Bishop Berkeley thought that our consciousness switched off during the night, but certainly in Advaita Vedanta, it doesn't. And I think really, according to, I think it just doesn't switch off because people have knowledge even before brain scans happened. They knew that deep sleep happened, and if they didn't know, then it would have just been. There would have been deep sleep, there would have been sleep, dream sleep, and then there would have been waking with nothing in between. But we know there's some sort of blankness there. So I do think that we are conscious during deep sleep. So, but I don't know what Bishop Berkeley thought. So that's his answer. Now, I'm not so happy with that answer. Sorry, Bishop. But what do you call bishops? Your honor? Your eminence? I'm not sure. So your eminence, I'm not sure. I don't really go with the answer. A better answer, for me at least, and everyone's going to have their own answer that they think's good for them, that just helps them to step past this and keep moving with their exploration, get rid of this block, is that everything in this idea, and also in idealism of Kant and Schopenhauer, time and space are things that the mind uses to kind of scaffolding for reality, to interpret reality, and they are within us. So they're in the mind and definitely within consciousness, because the mind is not the same as consciousness. The mind is, my separate mind. So I have memories that you don't have and thoughts that you don't have. I can see things that you don't see. So, so it's within consciousness. So if time is within consciousness, then there's no before consciousness. So the whole idea of the moon existing before humans walked the earth, or before we had our consciousness, without even needing to go to the idea of, well, it's being held in the consciousness of God, we can just say time is within consciousness, and so therefore there is no before consciousness, because consciousness is inside time. So, time is within consciousness, so there's no before consciousness. Now, so are we saying that everything's a dream? Yes, we are. In fact, Swami Vivekananda said, if you can't wake from the dream, then at least live a better dream. And so this kind of points at that there are different levels of truth. It's not really a dream, that's a metaphor. It's a good one, but it's not completely true. Well, I'm sure it's not. Probably nothing I ever say is completely true, or anything that anyone said on this planet is completely true. Maybe it's not even a little bit true. So now I've lost my track of thought. Okay, so before the earth, so there's different levels of consciousness. Got back to it, thank goodness. So there's different levels of consciousness, different levels of reality. And so we have the ultimate reality, which is a pure existence consciousness, Brahman, and it's unmoving, unchanging, untouched, infinite, eternal, no limits in time, space, or object. It's unreachable, unthinkable, and yet intimate. Now, then we've got the transactional reality within Advaita Vedanta. They have this level too, which is the world we live in, kind of the computer game that we're playing, if you prefer, the simulation that we're in, which we have to take seriously, because otherwise you're going to die. And don't die too soon. Try your best. Now, but within this framework, they do actually have a lower level of reality too, the illusory reality. So they draw a difference between reality, the ultimate reality, then the transactional reality where we live here, where science applies, and history, and the moon, and the earth coming after, well, not coming after the moon. I think they kind of separated from each other, didn't they? So there's that. And what's even less real is illusory reality. So mistakes you make, illusions. We have dreams as well. So dreams are, because they're not as consistent as everyday reality, waking reality, they're sometimes can be strange. They are considered less real than waking state. Now, this isn't always the case, though, in Advaita Vedanta, because Gaudapada, who was the teacher of the teacher, the guru of the guru of Shankaracharya, he commented on the Mandukya Upanishad. We've done a few videos about that. I have done a few videos about that. And he was really hardline. He said, in fact, there are only two states. There's deep sleep and there's dream. So this waking state is part of the dream state as well. He just said there's no difference between waking and dreaming. And in fact, I was doing some research. The reason we don't remember dreams so vividly, I mean, we do sometimes. I wrote down my dreams for over a year, and I wrote them down, and sometimes they were very vivid. Sometimes I had smells. Sometimes I had intense hallucinogenic colors. Really vibrant. And I woke up and, it was like this. So I know that you can have vivid colors. We've tried to remember the dream and it doesn't seem like that. I don't think it seems black and white, but it's certainly not as real as my memories of yesterday. Now, this is actually just because our memories of the dream disappear quicker. So they say that our dreams are actually in a similar way, intense, or similarly intense to our waking state, but we forget them quicker and they don't seem as real in the waking state. A bit like when you go into the dream state, you immediately forget that you're in bed. So you have this wiping, the memory works differently, and then you have a projection of the the dream, which interestingly, again, is how Maya works. It has two roles, as far as I know. It hides the truth from us. Like when we go to sleep, we forget that we're in bed. So there is this ignorance of the truth. But then it also projects the reality that we see. So this is like in a dream, the projection of the dream. So exactly the same. Maya works exactly the same as in a dream. And this is the error that we have. So there's a snake in the rope. We mistake the rope for a snake. And there's two processes. One, we don't see that it's a rope. Second, we project the snake, or the snake is projected because of our mistake. Yes, so that's that, I think. I think I've gone off the main subject, but I hope it was useful. Please put any comments if you've got any better ideas. Often people do. Often people do. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.